Okay. Okay, thank you all. Thank you for joining on Saturday evening. I know like everybody is busy this weekend, but I see like a lot of participants here and showing their interest on this topic. This is one of the unique topic Janay Garu picked up and for as part of the Raitu Kosam. And we know like we are all, most of us are the sons or grandsons of the farmers. So this is very helpful for all the people in this country. And once again, my name is Raja Kaskurti, and happy Ugadi to all the people. And I am TANA Community Services Coordinator here. Thank you, Janay Garu, and as well as Yarlagadda Garu for bringing this presentation as well as some educational webinar to all of us. And I would like to invite TANA President Anjay Chaudhary Lau Garu to say a few words about this program as well as TANA. Anjay Garu, are you on?
Can you hear me, Raja? Can you hear me?
Yeah, good.
Thank you very much, Raja, and good evening and warm welcome to everybody. So as Raja requested, I'll keep it brief. I know we are all excited to go into the session, but before we do that, I just want to extend my heartfelt thanks to Subbarao Yarlagadda Garu, host of today, and of course, entire TANA leadership, as well as our TANA Agricultural Committee or team or whatever, the leader for that particular committee and efforts, Janay Garu, and of course, Raja Kaskurti, our Community Service Coordinator, Srinivas Kukatla, who is also part of this coordination committee, and as well as Sezar Jasti, our TANA Cares chair, and the entire TANA leadership. And every day in and day out, TANA does activities almost one each day, whether it's here or way back in our Telugu speaking states. So it could be Team Square, where we help any catastrophic that happens. Almost 3 to 5 at an average instance happen, and every day we get numerous calls, and we help Telugus, hundreds and thousands of people over North America and in India, actually. And also through TANA Foundation, we have a lot of charity activities, and we spend around a couple of $1 million on a yearly basis at an average. And we also spend around more than 200 million since inception. We have a lot of programs. I'm not going to go in detail, but especially when it comes to serving our motherland, we are all our sons of farmers or just hail from farmers community or family. So we have a stupendous, successful program, TANA Raitu Kosam, from the TANA Agriculture Committee. And since probably, if I remember exactly, probably for the past 4 or 5 years, I'm not sure, but we have, and Janay Garu is leading that effort from the day one. So I want to commend Janay Garu. And whenever we visit India, once in every 2 years, we have an event called Chaitanya Sravanti, where we do all our service activities. It's not that we just only do that time, but all the leadership goes over there, and then we have all the cultural as well as charitable activities. And in those activities, we do almost 2 states, and we stay there for about 6 weeks. In that process, TANA Raitu Kosam have delivered blockbuster events, and all the events scattered to all the farmers in the rural areas. Janay Garu will go in detail of those, what we are doing. Many doesn't know, but I want him to brief about that. But coming to this particular, seminar, I'll take a little credit from Janay Garu, if he allows. The reason for that being, when I, commenced the office in July, almost we are doing a number of events, almost event a day, as I mentioned. But I met with Janay Garu, and I clearly, mentioned and drafted and requested him, saying that Janay Garu, we are doing a lot of, activities, especially Raitu Kosam farmers in India. But in this term, we need to extend that, whether it could be knowledge or activities or just the buzzword here, what we're doing in US. So let us come up with some webinars which will cater to the audience here, especially. And at least, I bet he agrees with me. That is where this seed was sown. But of course, entire credit to Janay Garu. As I said, I was just kidding, but the credit goes to him. But that's where the seed was sown, and definitely it is fruitful. And this is the first session. But I promise and request Janay Garu that we need to get more of these activities into our community. And now you see around 220 people, right? So without even registrations, people came voluntarily. That shows the strength of this particular topic. I promise that will come more of these. So, how to buy a farmland, whether it really is worth based on the ROI, what are the advantages, all those things, let us discuss in detail without taking much time. Thank you all for joining. Without your participation, this session wouldn't be as successful as we see here. So once again, thank you all. Let's go ahead into the session, and thank you. Raja, back to you.
Yeah, thank you, Anjay garu. Thank you for all the nice words and also about Raitu Kosam, like what we did earlier and what we are going to do. And I would like to say, like, it's a great effort, Janay garu, what you are doing, and also like this is one of the unique sessions. Like so far, what we are doing right back home, we are helping farmers there as part of Raitu Kosam, we are all sons of farmers, like Raitu Bidlam Andaram. So if we wanted to do some farming here, so we wanted to get some mud on our hands. So this is very helpful for all of us, how to start, where to start, and what to do, what not to do, with the help of Yarlagadda Subbarao garu. I think Janay garu, please go ahead and introduce, you say a few words and introduce Janay garu, Yarlagadda Subbarao garu.
Sure.
Thank you
very much, Raja garu. And munduga TANA అధ్యక్షులు అంజయ్ చౌదరి గారికి, మరి రాజా గారు చాలా ఎఫర్ట్స్ పెడతా ఉన్నారు ఇవన్నీ కోఆర్డినేట్ చేయడానికి. రాజా గారు, మా కమిటీ సభ్యులందరికీ, ఈనాడు ఈ కార్యక్రమానికి వచ్చేసినటువంటి తెలుగు వారందరికీ, మరి ఉత్తర అమెరికాలో ఉన్నటువంటి మన తెలుగు వారందరికీ ముందుగా ఉగాది శుభాకాంక్షలు తెలియజేసుకుంటూ, మన అంజయ్ చౌదరి గారు చెప్పినట్లు దాదాపు 8 సంవత్సరాల నుంచి తానా రైతాంగానికి ఏదైనా సేవ చేయాలనేటువంటి ముఖ్య ఉద్దేశంతో అనేక రకమైనటువంటి కార్యక్రమాలు చేయడం జరిగింది. అందులో ముఖ్యంగా రైతు కోసం తానా అనేటువంటి పేరుతో మన తెలుగు రాష్ట్రాలు చూసినట్లయితే పెస్టిసైడ్స్ వాడకంలో దాదాపు ప్రపంచంలో మొట్టమొదటి స్థానంలో ఉన్నాం. అవి అటు పంటని కాపాడటమే కాకుండా రైతన్న కానీ రైతు కూలీల యొక్క ఆరోగ్యాన్ని దెబ్బతీస్తుంది అనేటువంటి ముఖ్య ఉద్దేశంతో ఆ యొక్క రైతు రక్షణ కిట్, అంటే పర్సనల్ ప్రొటెక్షన్ ఎక్విప్మెంట్ అనేటువంటి దాన్ని తానా వారు రూపొందించి దాదాపు ₹1 కోటి విలువైనటువంటి మన దాతలు ఇచ్చినటువంటి విరాళాలతో వేల మంది రైతాంగానికి రైతు రక్షణ కిట్లని ఈ రైతు కోసం తానా అందించడం జరిగింది. మరి అంతేకాదు, ఎయిడ్స్ పైన ఎలా అయితే మనం అవగాహన కల్పించామో అదే విధంగా ఒక రథం, రైతు కోసం తానా అనేటువంటి ఒక రథాన్ని రూపొందించి దాదాపు 1000 కిలోమీటర్లు ప్రయాణించి మన రైతాంగానికి దానిపైన జాగ్రత్తలు తీసుకోవాల్సినటువంటి దానిపైన ట్రైనింగ్ ఇవ్వడం జరిగింది. మరి అంతేకాదు, మన రైతులు చూసినట్లయితే ఎక్కువగా వాడేటువంటి ఫర్టిలైజర్, నైట్రోజన్ సోర్స్ అనేటువంటిది యూరియా. దానివల్ల పెట్టుబడులు ఎక్కువ పెరిగిపోతా ఉన్నాయి. అదేవిధంగా మోతాదు కంటే ఎక్కువ వేసినా పంటకు ఉపయోగం ఉండదు. అందుకని చెప్పేసి ఇక్కడ అమెరికాలో వాడుతున్నటువంటి గ్రీన్ సీకర్ అనేటువంటి ఒక ఇన్స్ట్రుమెంట్ ని మన అగ్రికల్చర్ యూనివర్సిటీస్ కి తానా వారు ఇచ్చినటువంటి విరాళాలతో వారికి కొనివ్వటం జరిగింది. వారు ఒకసారి మన ప్రాంతానికి కాలిబ్రేట్ చేస్తే ఇప్పుడు వచ్చేటువంటి కార్యక్రమాల్లో మనం రైతాంగానికి పల్లె ప్రాంతాలకు తీసుకెళ్లాలనేటువంటి ముఖ్య ఉద్దేశం. మరింతే కాకుండా ముందు మరిన్ని కార్యక్రమాలు చేయాలనేటువంటిది మేము ఒక ప్రణాళిక రూపొందించుకొని తానా లీడర్షిప్ తో ముందుకు జరుగుతూ ఉంది. ఈ రెండు నేను చెప్పినటువంటి ప్రాజెక్టుల్ని యార్లగడ్డ సుబ్బారావు గారు ఈ రోజు మనకి స్పీకర్ గా వచ్చినటువంటి ఆయన ఈ అగ్రికల్చర్ ఫోరం స్థాపించిన దగ్గర నుంచి ఎప్పుడు లైమ్ లైట్ లో లేరు. ప్రతి వారు ఉన్నటువంటి సభ్యులందరూ జానయ్య ఈ కార్యక్రమాలు నడుపుతా ఉన్నారు అని అంటున్నారే కానీ నా వెనక ఉన్నటువంటి వారు ఎప్పుడు వాళ్ళ ఫేస్ కానీ వాళ్ళ పేరు కానీ మీరు వినరు. ఇది స్థాపించింది మాజీ తానా అధ్యక్షులు బండ్ల హనుమయ్య గారు అయితే యార్లగడ్డ సుబ్బారావు గారు మాకు అడ్వైజర్. ఆ రోజు ఈ పురుగు మందులు వాడేటప్పుడు మన రైతాంగానికి శిక్షణ ఇవ్వాలి అనేటువంటి మొట్టమొదటిసారిగా మా దృష్టికి తీసుకొచ్చినటువంటి వ్యక్తి యార్లగడ్డ సుబ్బారావు గారు. మరి అదే విధంగా గ్రీన్ సీకర్ ని కూడా ఆయనే మొట్టమొదటి యూనిట్ ని $500 ఆయన సొంతగా కొని మొట్టమొదటి యూనిట్ ఇవ్వడం జరిగింది. అలాంటి సుబ్బారావు గారు ఈరోజు మనకి గెస్ట్గా రావటం అనేటువంటిది ఎంతో గొప్ప అవకాశం మనకి. మరి సుబ్బారావు గారి గురించి చెప్పాలి అంటే మన అంజయ్ చౌదరి గారు చెప్పినట్లు ఆయన మొట్టమొదటిసారిగా ప్రెసిడెంట్ అవ్వగానే నన్ను రీచ్ అయ్యి ఈ సంవత్సరం మనం కంపల్సరీ ఇక్కడ రైతాంగాలకు అక్కడ సేవలు చేయటమే కాకుండా ఇక్కడ ఉన్నటువంటి మన ఫస్ట్ జనరేషన్ కానీ భావితరాల వారికి కానీ ఈ రంగంలో ఎలాంటి అవకాశాలు ఉన్నాయనేటువంటిది అవగాహన కల్పించాలని ఒక వెబినార్ పెట్టాలి అంటే దాన్ని భాగంగానే ఈరోజు ఉగాది సందర్భంగా మొట్టమొదటి కార్యక్రమం జరుపుతూ ఉన్నాం. ముందు ఐ ప్రామిస్ యూ అంజయ్ గారు, వీ విల్ హ్యావ్ one session every week on different topics related to agriculture. So with these few words, and I would like to introduce Dr. Subbarao garu. Subbarao garu gurinchi cheppalante దాదాపు నేను 1 hour సెమినార్ ఇవ్వగలను. ఆయన 1971 ఉత్తర అమెరికాకు వచ్చి ఇక్కడ అగ్రానమీలో పిహెచ్డి కెన్సాస్ స్టేట్ యూనివర్సిటీ నుంచి పట్టభద్రులై దాదాపు 40 సంవత్సరాల పాటు నేషనల్ అగ్రానమిస్ట్గా హెలీనా అగ్రి ఎంటర్ప్రైజెస్ కి పనిచేస్తూ ఆయన 2019లో రిటైర్ అవ్వడం జరిగింది. ఆయనకున్నటువంటి అపారమైనటువంటి అనుభవ రీత్యా ఆయన ఇక్కడ ఉన్నటువంటి రైతులతో మమేకమై వారికి చెప్పవలసినటువంటి భాషలో ఆయన చెప్తారు. కాబట్టి దాదాపు గత 5 సంవత్సరాల్లోనే 40 రాష్ట్రాల నుంచి అనేక రకమైనటువంటి ఫార్మర్ గ్రూప్స్ ఆయన్ని చీఫ్ గెస్ట్ గా పిలవటమే కాకుండా ఆయన వేల మందికి ట్రైనింగ్ ఇవ్వటం జరిగింది. ఇక్కడ అగ్రికల్చర్ చేసేటువంటి విధానం పైన ఎలాంటి మెలకువలు తీసుకోవాలనేటువంటి దానిపైన. మరి సుబ్బారావు గారే కాదు, సుబ్బారావు గారి యొక్క అర్ధాంగిని కూడా అగ్రికల్చర్ పైన అంతే ప్యాషన్ ఉన్నటువంటి ఆవిడ. ఆమె పేరు ఓల్గా గారు. సుబ్బారావు గారు, ఓల్గా గారు వాళ్ళ తల్లిదండ్రులు అక్కడ చేసేటువంటి వ్యవసాయాన్ని చూసి ఇక్కడ ఆ వ్యవసాయం పైన ఉన్నటువంటి మక్కువతో మన తెలుగు మిత్రులతో కలిసి దాదాపు 100 ఎకరాలని మిషిగన్, ఇండియానా, అర్కాన్సస్ స్టేట్లో సాగు చేయడం జరుగుతూ ఉంది. ఈ ప్రాజెక్ట్ ని చేస్తున్నటువంటి వారు ఆయన సహచరిణి ఓల్గా గారు. ఆయన ఈరోజు ఆయనకున్నటువంటి అనుభవమే కాకుండా ఆమెకున్నటువంటి అనుభవాన్ని కూడా మనతోని షేర్ చేసుకోవటానికి ముందుగా వచ్చారు. మరి సుబ్బారావు గారు ఇది ప్రొఫెషన్ తో పాటు మాతృభూమి పైన ఉన్నటువంటి అనుబంధాన్ని ఏ రోజు మర్చిపోలేదు. ఆయన వచ్చినటువంటి ప్రాంతమైనటువంటి చిలువూరు గ్రామంలో 20 సంవత్సరాల క్రితం ఒక ఫ్రీ మెడికల్ హాస్పిటల్ని స్థాపించి దాదాపు 400,000 ఆ ప్రాంతంలో ఉన్నటువంటి వారికి సేవలు అందించడం జరిగింది. అనేక రకమైనటువంటి కెటరాక్ట్ ఆపరేషన్స్ కానీ మిగతా సేవలు కానీ. రీసెంట్ గా వారు ఉన్నటువంటి విలేజ్ లో రామాలయం టెంపుల్ శిథిలావస్థలో ఉంటే ఆయన మిస్సెస్ ఓల్గా గారు ఆ ప్రాజెక్ట్ ని చేపట్టి ఆ రామాలయాన్ని సంపూర్ణంగా తీర్చిదిద్దడం జరిగింది. మరి అలాంటి అపారమైనటువంటి అనుభవం ఉన్నటువంటి సుబ్బారావు గారు వారి యొక్క సమయాన్ని కేటాయించి మనతోని జాయిన్ అవటం అనేటువంటిది మనందరి యొక్క అదృష్టంగా భావిస్తున్నాను. వితౌట్ ఎనీ ఫర్దర్ డ్యూ, Subbarao garu, I would like to request you and share your knowledge on US agriculture and farmland. And thank you for taking time and joining with us.
Yeah. Subbarao garu, మీ స్క్రీన్ షేర్ చేయండి. సో ఎవరికైనా ఏమైనా క్వశ్చన్స్ ఉంటే మీరు చాట్ రూమ్ లో పోస్ట్ చేయండి. వన్స్ సెషన్ అయిపోయిన తర్వాత లాస్ట్ లో ఉన్న టైంని బట్టి వీ కెన్ హ్యావ్ ద క్వశ్చన్ ఆన్సర్ సెషన్. థ్యాంక్ యూ ఆల్. సుబ్బారావు గారు మీరు మ్యూట్ లో ఉన్నారండి.
We can see the screen and
yeah, మీరు మ్యూట్ లో ఉన్నారు. You can unmute and then start.
Okay.
Yeah, now we can hear.
Very good. Yeah, we in the farming community, we don't much care for grammar. That's where it comes day 8. But anyway, land they ain't making it anymore. I wish I said that, but that's a quote from Mark Twain. He said, they ain't making it anymore. మీలో తెలుగువారి మంచితనము ఉంది. మీకు కాదు మీలోని మంచితనానికి నమస్కారం. మీలో తెలుగువారి గొప్పతనము ఉంది. మీకు కాదు మీలోని గొప్పతనానికి నమస్కారం. మీ మోములో తెలుగువారి చరిత్ర రాసి ఉంది. మీకు కాదు మీలోని చరిత్రకు నమస్కారం. మీలో తెలుగువారి ఔదార్యం ఉంది. మీకు కాదు మీలోని ఔదార్యానికి నమస్కారం. మీలో తెలుగువారి వైభవం ఉంది. మీకు కాదు మీలోని వైభవానికి నమస్కారం. అభిమానించి, ఆదరించి, గౌరవించి నాకు ఈ అవకాశం కల్పించిన కోట జానయ్య గారికి నమస్కారం. అవునవును, ఎందరో మహానుభావులు. ఈయన మహానుభావుడు కాదు జానయ్య గారు. జానయ్య గారు మహానుభావులకి మహానుభావులు. నాకంటే చిన్నవాడైనా బాబు నీకు నమస్కారం. మహనీయులు తానా ప్రెసిడెంట్ అంజయ్య చౌదరి గారు, వారి స్టాఫ్, వారి సంస్థకి మై హార్ట్ ఫెల్ట్ కృతజ్ఞతలు, ధన్యవాదాలు. నమస్కారం చౌదరి గారు. And I want to give a shout out to my family and my niece Neelima for joining us today. See, if we are from Andhra Pradesh, just like you were saying before, we grew up on a land or around land. Our fathers are farmers, our grandfathers were farmers, our great-grandfathers were farmers, and forefathers before them were farmers. Land is in our blood. Farming is in our genealogy. Deep down, we are all farmers. When I needed to do a proper tribute to the farmer, I looked to Srirangam Srinivasarao, Mahaniyuni Mahaprastham. When I feel low, I read up Sri Sri Gari Mahaprastham. I was a Marxist. మీరు ఇక్కడ చూసేది ఇది మహాప్రస్థానం నుంచి. నేను అంతా చదవట్లేదు, కింద 2 వాక్యం. ధర్మ జలానికి ఖరీదు లేదు. ధర్మ జలానికి ఖరీదు కట్టే శరాబు లేదు. కవులకు మహాకవి శ్రీ. I'm going to give you a trivia. We'll start with the trivia. I just want to ask you a question. Now, who can own farmland in this country? Okay, you ready? Yes. United States citizens are a permanent resident alien of the United States. It's kind of misleading. Anybody can own land in this country, but they make it difficult, especially in 6 states. If you're a foreign operation, you can't own land. There are a lot of restrictions. But Saudi Arabia owns some land, China owns some land, but mainly if the United States citizen, it will be easy if you're a citizen or a permanent resident alien to own land. And next trivia question. Who owns the most farmland in the US? Gates. is the largest farmland owner in the US. With the divorce going on, I do not know how much Bill owns, how much Melinda owns, how much the foundation owns. I'm not sure, but these are the statistics. Bill Gates owns 242,000 acres of farmland in 19 different states. In addition, he owns 25,750 acres of transitional land and 1,234 acres of recreational land for a land total holdings of 268,900 acres.
Subbarao garu, we can't hear you, Andy.
Oh, okay. You can't hear at all? Okay. You can't? I wonder why. You can't hear me from the very beginning. Hello?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
We can hear you. We can hear you, Andy, now. To proceed.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, but did you miss the front part here? No?
Not much, Andy. Not much. We heard on Bill Gates owns the most land, and we are seeing the slide. You can proceed, Andy. No problem.
Okay, thank you. His largest holding is Louisiana, followed by Arkansas and the Arizona. You know, I just want to share something about the U.S. agriculture in general before we go into the numbers. Okay, it will be slow, but I'll get there. It's not your grandfather's farming anymore, like the cliche in this country goes. You see, that's the way it was. On the top there, you see with them, and it's all high-tech farming. Today, we are technology, GPS, GIS, computers. And this is our tractor cab anymore. And then we are biotechnology. So the biotechnology is the greatest innovation. You know, a lot of people don't realize, you know, Facebook, they think it's a big deal. Facebook doesn't feed people, it feeds gossip, and gossip doesn't fill a bed. And then what we are RTK. Can you believe that you planted this year in a straight line, just like the picture is showing? And next year, after a year later, you come back and then you can plant within 1 inch of what it was last year. That's what they call RTK. That's what we are. You know, it used to be able to put 200 pounds of fertilizer in the whole farm, whether you need it or not. But now what we do is we soil test, and then on the go, we can vary the rate depending on your soil test. If you are high, we put low fertilizer and no fertilizer. If you're low, we put high amount of fertilizer. So we're not putting that much fertilizer, and it doesn't pollute the waters. And then satellite technology. What they do is they take a picture of your farm. They take a picture of your crop as it's growing. If it's green, it's good. If it's red, it's not. You see there in the picture, it's red. Those red areas, you can go back and see what's the problem there is. And then we have drones. You know, the drones, we use remote control drones to detect disease, to detect insects, to detect weeds. And that's what we are. And this is the most beautiful thing. It's amazing. We are what I call on-the-go yield map, right? The combine is harvesting the grain. That's 160 acres under irrigation pivot. And then it maps the yield as it goes through the farm or through the field. So the green areas are good yielding, and the red areas are bad yielding, and the in-between is yellow. So I can look at it and I say why it's red what I'm going to do to fix that problem. That's how sophisticated that we got. And of course, if I don't say this, it's not good. We are conservation, okay? A lot of people don't realize, they think that agriculture pollutes. No, we don't. We are conservation. See, what's the reality is, there will be 9.7 billion mouths to feed by year 2050. And then I just now said, they ain't making any more land. In fact, they're taking it away from production, because if you drive by Chicago, all the farmland is being built into buildings. You see, that's happening all over the world, all over the country. So the answer is, what is the land you have that you have to produce more? You see the technology, the yields used to be stagnant. And then came the double cross and what they call the hybrid, and then the biotechnology, and the yields took off. Some of them, people think using this biotechnology producing food, some of them call it monster genes or Frankenstein food. You know, they don't like eating. Go ahead, make my day. You know, you don't have to worry about this. We are what we call organic farm. You see, you know, we got your back. We got you covered. All you have to do is go to Walmart, go to Myers, go to Kroger, wherever you are in the shelf, in the organic section, you can load up your food. So we got you covered either way. That's what we are. I'm going to share a very personal story. This is, in a way, this is very important. This is very personal, but it's very relevant to what we are. Every life has a story. And also I say that every life is a story. Very personal. You know, the emotional attachment to the land is very important. My brother and I grew up on a 2-acre farm. And my dad had tuberculosis and he was dying. And then we had to go to college. By that time, we accumulated a lot of debt. By the time we went to college, we didn't have enough money to pay for the fee. So we are forced out to sell my 2 acres of land. And of course, in the village, in those days, there is only 1 or 2 guys that have the money that will be able to pay you cash. Right? And the land should have been worth 8,000 rupees. But he knew what our situation was. We're in debt, my dad is dying, we need the money. So he said, I'll give you 3,000 rupees. And we were forced to sell my land for 3,000 rupees an acre. I never forgot. And my father died, of course. I promised my dad that I will buy 100 acres of land to each 1 acre that he lost. And that my dad watches. I kept my promise. When I drive by my farm that I bought, I always see some dust blowing. I see not the dust. I see my dad's ashes. And I see my dad's life in the freshly plowed ground that I have bought. My wife and I will move heaven and earth to own farmland, because I do this for my dad, because I do this for my forefathers. See, this land thing has to be in your blood. This land thing has to be in your veins. This land thing, it has to be in your genes. See, the land is you, and you are the land. You know, I know, like the former President Obama used to say, I'm getting all beat up. I'm all getting emotional. You know, with a tear in the left eye and a tear dropping on the right eye, I'm getting all emotional. You know, but it's not necessary. You see, it's not at all necessary. You know, with the connection to the land like I am. This is the thing. You know, Goppadara, Telugulo, Goppadara. You see, the emotion is okay, shedding a tear is okay, all the talk is okay. But when I come right down to it, what Warren Buffett said was true. The first rule of an investment is don't lose money. And the second rule of an investment is, he said, don't forget the first rule. ఈ మహనీయుడు ఆయనంతటి మనిషికి లేదు. ఆయన తెలివితేటలు ఏంటి ఏమన్నా కానీ. You see, I don't like him. I don't like him because of his money. I do not like him because he still lives in the small farmhouse that he was born and raised. I do not like because he has billions of dollars. But I like him because he gives it away. And then ఎన్ని సంవత్సరాలు మట్టి నేను తెలుగులో మీకు జోక్ చెప్పాలంటే, ఆయన్ని పెద్ద దొర, ఇది నేను చెప్పే తెలుగు జోక్, పెద్ద దొర, తెలంగాణ బంగారం, beautiful state, beautiful country, beautiful people. That's where I learned how to talk to other people. But anyway, this is a story from Telangana. Telangana Palluturu. The Sarpanch
సుబ్బారావు గారు వాయిస్ కొంచెం ఫ్లక్చుయేట్ అవుతుంది, కొంచెం దగ్గరగా మాట్లాడండి, అంటే ముందుకి వెనక మూవ్ కాకుండా మాట్లాడండి.
ఓకే. పెద్ద దొర అంటారు సర్పంచ్ గారిని. ఆయన ఒకసారి బాగుండలేదు. పెద్ద దొర ఎప్పుడు ఆవిడ డాక్టర్ దగ్గరికి. ఆ పల్లెటూరులో ఎంబీబీఎస్ డాక్టర్ ఎవరు ఆచార్య గారు ఆయన మందిస్తాడు. సో పెద్ద దొర సర్వెంట్ అక్కడికి వెళ్ళాడు. అక్కడికి వెళ్ళి శిలాల్లో నుంచుని ముందు చేతులు కట్టుకుని అక్కడ నుంచుంటే ఆయన ఆచార్య గారు అడిగారు, ఏమా మల్లయ్య, ఏంటి, ఎందుకు వచ్చినావు? మల్లయ్య చెప్పాడు, పెద్ద దొర విరేచనం లేదు. సో ఆచార్య గారు 2 మాత్రలు ఇచ్చి పంపారు. మరుసటి రోజు మల్లయ్య మళ్ళీ వచ్చిండు. ఏమయ్యా మల్లయ్య మళ్ళీ వచ్చినావు? పెద్ద దొర విరేచనం లేదు. సో ఈసారి ఆచార్య గారు 2 గొట్టాలు ఇచ్చి పంపాడు. గొట్టాలంటే క్యాప్షూల్స్ అన్నమాట. తెలంగాణలో గొట్టాలంటే క్యాప్షూల్. 3వ రోజు మళ్ళీ వచ్చిండు. అక్కడ నుంచున్నాడు, చేతులు కట్టుకుని శిలాలు. ఆచార్య గారు మళ్ళీ అడిగాడు, ఏమయ్యా మల్లయ్య మళ్ళీ వచ్చినావు? మల్లయ్య, పెద్ద దొర విరేచనం లేదు. ఈసారి ఆచార్ గారు ఉసముందు ఇచ్చాడు ఆయనకి. ఉసముందు ఏంటంటే ఇది బాటిల్ ఉంటుంది, లిక్విడ్, అది మన బాటిల్ అది మూత తీస్తే పొగ వస్తుంది అనమాట. ఆ మందు ఇచ్చి పంపాడు, మోస్ట్ పవర్ఫుల్ మెడిసిన్. 4వ రోజుని మళ్ళొచ్చాడు, అక్కడ శిలాల్లో నుంచి చేతులు కట్టుకున్నాడు. ఏమా మళ్ళొచ్చినావు మల్లయ్య? పెద్ద వీరే ఇచ్చినాం, దొరలేదు. I know you're lost. Okay. But anyway, Warren Buffett once said the first rule of an investment is don't lose money. And the second rule of an investment is don't forget the first rule. So, Karmajalaniki Karidu Gatland. Alanik Matram Karidu Gatland. Let me take you back to about 20 years. Okay. When you buy the land, this is the kind of description they give you. The west half of the east half of section 14, north 47 acres of the east half of the northeast in St. Joseph County, Constantine Township, Michigan. What happened? And this was the picture of that land. We made a lot of deals. We had a lot more land, but we swapped the land. We ended up with about 211 and that red triangle because there was a road. Michigan had this US 131 go right through there. So they bought some of the land from us. So we did a lot of giving and taking, that kind of stuff. So this is about 211 acres, okay? Now it's only 186. I'm not going to go into there, but this is how it is. I'm going to present it to you. Out of that 211 acres, I want you to notice this. This is very important. You got to know what they call the tillable acre is. See, you got to have a high tillable. That means you can, that's the only acreage that you can plant crops. So this is the way it looks. I have 211 acres. In those days, for 20 years back, we paid $436,000 approximately. The cost per acre was 2,000, little over 2,000, and most of it is tillable, and that was good. So it only increased it by about little less than $100 an acre. So that's what the deal was here. And then what you call deposit or earnest money. That's the earnest money that you got put in. That's the down payment, what they call. In those days, we were able to put only 30% down payment and the rest of it borrowed from the bank. You know, I got to tell you something about borrowing a loan from the bank. You know, to be honest with you, putting this land together, farming, managing, I don't do this at all. My wife does. She knows every banker, she knows every auctioneer, she knows the people. When she goes to the bank, people, give up everything they're doing, just go hug her. You know, she just knows it. She is the one, she does the thing, she brings in the loan, she puts the deal together. She is the one, she does. I just am presenting. And then breakdown of the earnest money. So 30% comes to $130,000, 700. You see the numbers there? And then Yarlagadda and Notaki, Mohan Rao, Mahanir. Aina, or Bharya, Sanjarani, Namaskaram. Wallu Malpat. Alane, Sai Kumar, and Vijay Lakshmi Lingam, another Mahanil. Iyana వీరు శ్రీ వెంకటేశ్వర టెంపుల్ ఫార్మింగ్టన్ హిల్స్ లో కట్టినవారు. ఆయన గొప్పతనం. మేము ముగ్గురు 3 ఫ్యామిలీస్ కలిపి we put in about 44,596.67 each, okay, for that land. That's the 30% earnest money. I want you to know this was about almost 20 years back. So total loan, again, my wife is the one that got, 302,400. You know, we originally borrowed the money for over 12% or something like that. And then my wife, she knew this one guy, and then she calls him home. She makes him some Indian food, makes him feel good. I cut it down to 9% loan. You know, I still remember the guy's name is Vic Nance, you know. So 9% loan on 302,000. The interest is $27,216 per year. Property tax is $2,000 per year, and the principal is $10,000 per year. Where am I coming with that $10,000 per year? We save and we borrow the money for 30 years. I know where I'm at, I ain't going to last 30 years, but that's what you got to do. And if you have more money, you know, she arranges so that you don't have to pay any prepayment penalty. So total payments on that farm came to $40,000 per year. You understood? And then in those days, we gave the land to cash rent, $150 per acre, approximately about 200 acres. So we got $30,000. And total payments were $40,000. So the shortfall was $10,000 at least for a few years. So between the three of us, we put $3,300 per year from our pocket, in addition to the down payment that we have made, okay? And then some comments from the locals on paying 2,000 acres land in those days. Oh yeah, they will not make it. They paid too much money. There is no way they can make this work. They got to have their head exam. You know, that's what the comments were. You know, when we bought that land, yeah, we had some bumps, okay? Few of them. And then I want to fast forward to now. The $2,000 per acre land became $10,000. I'm going to repeat this again and again and again. 10,000 is a round figure. It ranges from anywhere from $7,000 to the 12,000. If you have a sandy soil, you want to make, that's only $7,000 or $8,000. What? Because it does not produce as good as a good land that I'm showing you right now. So 2,000 per acre land became $10,000. And then my $30,000 per year income became $75,000. Now approximately, you know, we're getting like 24,800. I rounded it off. Everything is paid for. We paid it way ahead. We didn't wait 30 years. And then now we have an issue. Our biggest issue is we're trying to figure out how we transfer this to the kids so they can blow it. You see, I have 3 kids. You know, they're beautiful kids. I got 6 grandchildren. You know, where we live now, a lot of Amish people, they have big families. And one of them asked me one day, "Sir, you only have 3 children. Why are you not having any more?" I've told him, "Sir, we stopped with 3 children because my wife and I read in the World Book Encyclopedia that every 4th one born in the world is a Chinese." Well, I didn't want Chinese, Okay, but anyway, our biggest problem right now is figuring out how we transfer this to the kids so they can, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Yes. So I'm sure you're pulling out your checkbook and saying, hey, let's go and hunt some land, right? Well, not so fast. Here it is, not so fast. Current scenario, loan disclosure. Total cost for 100 acres. That cost increased now. If you can find the land, it's $1 million. And then again, I'm repeating, some of that land ain't worth that much. Some of this sandy ground, which is only 7 or 8. But I'm talking the land that I showed you in my slide before. Cost per acre is 10,000. And according to what we did, like 30 and 70%, if you put the earnest money of $300,000, the principal, which is the bank loan, that will be $700,000. Let's work the figures. Okay, let's work the figures. Total loan is $700,000. And then I just did 6% interest, $42,000 per year. Property tax, approximately $2,000, give or take. Principal, the 30-year gain, $23,000. The total payments became $67,000 on 100 acres. So what's the total revenue? For calculation purpose, for ease and understanding, that I put a cash rent of $400 per acre. I repeat, it ranges from anywhere from $300 to $450 cash rent. Okay, on 100 acres. I said 400, that becomes 40,000. Again, it depends on the type of the land that you have, type of the crops you can grow. If it's a sandy soil, they don't pay you as much, but 400, yes, for 40,000. And then whereas your total payments now became $67,000. And then your shortfall became $27,000. Okay, that means you got to come up with three of you own the land. I prefer 3 or 4 partners owning the land. The reason is, if there is some kind of an issue, if you're not making any money, you spread the risk on 3 or 4 of them. Then if you ever wanted to own 100 acres, 4 people own 100 acres, you own 25, and then you buy another farm, you own another 25, you buy another farm, you own another 25, and then pretty soon you own your 100 acres that you wanted. But it's better to go with a partner, okay? You got to set it up right. But preferred way of doing this is what we like, my wife and I like, but it doesn't work anymore. Set it up such a way that you don't have to pay anything from your pocket every year. How do you do that? Okay? The bank payments every year should equal the cash rent you get from the farm. The bank payments, you borrow the money from the banks, right? Yeah. You see, that's what my wife does. Remember that I told you? I'm going to tell you a story about these farmers. They tell stories, jokes. This farmer, he went to his bank. He borrowed $100,000 from him last year, and he went to his banker and he said, "Sir, I have some bad news and I have some good news for you." The banker said, "Give me the bad news first so I can go home with the good news." The farmer said, "You remember the loan, that $100,000 loan that you gave me this past year? I did not make any money. My crops didn't yield. I've lost $100,000. I can't repay you that $100,000 loan that you gave me. That's the bad news." And the banker, he said, well, if that's the bad news, I'm ready for some good news. Give me the good news. Well, the farmer said, you lucky man, I have decided to do business with you one more year. I hope you're laughing. Okay. Anyway, the bank payments every year should equal the cash rent you get from the farm. Okay. Pay more down payment and borrow less from the bank. This is how the numbers will work out here. Again, total cost 100 acres, $1 million, cost per acre 10,000. Earnest money now, I'm putting up 60% of the money from our, this takes money, this farmland. You know, we're not talking 10,000, 20,000. We're talking money, real money. Dude, this is real money. The principal bank loan is $400,000. So total loan is 400,000. And then my wife will get it down to 6% or whatever the low she knows how, from 24,000 per year. The property tax is $2,000. The principal is $13,000 per year again. That's why I hope you write it. If you have the money, you can prepay. You want to make sure you do that. And the total payments are $39,000. Total revenue is $40,000, and the total payment is $39,000. And this is the term we use, which we prefer. It pays for itself. Okay, you're not putting any money from your pocket. That's how I would like to set up. But it takes a lot of money. You see that? Yeah. Well, that's the preferred way to do it. You need to dole out huge down payment. That's one of the problems. How will I set it? Okay. This is the way I'll set it. It won't happen probably. Pay all tax, more than one party. And then you're getting 4% return on your money. That's all we can do right now, the way in which things are. You know, in the stock market, you can get 10%, right? But you don't want to put all your money in the stock market. You remember a couple of weeks ago, huh? You know, the NASDAQ went into the bear market, and my 401k became 201k. You remember that? You know, that day I drove by my farm, and my farm still is there. You know, it's there beautiful, okay? So you only get 4% return. You're lucky if you do that. And then what I call do a Warren Buffett. What's the do a Warren Buffett mean is our favorite holding period, he said, is forever. You know, he's not the kind of guy that buys something and then get out tomorrow and then come back again, buy it and then sell it. And that's not the kind of guy he is. That's what I call do a Warren Buffett. It's forever. Okay? In a way, it's kind of misleading, you know. I want to mend that a little bit. Anybody wants to know or anybody wants to get into the land, sometimes the price goes down. It doesn't go all the way up all the time. Don't kid yourself. Okay? So it goes down. You do not want to put yourself in a position where you are forced to sell out at a loss. You know, like the farmers here say, come ahead or high water, I ain't selling. Okay? I ain't selling for a loss. You don't want to put yourself in that position. You see, that's the only way the land works. So you pay $10,000. Some of the comments from the locals on paying is deja vu all over again, like that football coach said. They'll never make it. They paid too much. There is no way that they can. They said that 20 years ago, same thing for me. And look what happened now. Okay? But you may think 4% is peanuts, right? Or 3%, whatever it is. I make it 10. On the stock market, on average, yeah, I beat you. I can beat you any day. 4 is not, but I didn't add the appreciation on the land. Give me a 1% appreciation. Can you do that? Then it becomes 4 plus 1, 5. Give me 2% appreciation. That's so low. Dude, yeah, give me 2, that becomes 6. And then give me 3, 7, give me 6, that becomes 10%. So who knows? But on the appreciation part of it, I want people to know that you are speculating that the land price is going to go high. Okay? You got to know that. That's the way it is. The thing with farmland is that it sits there for a long time and then it jumps. That's the way it is. You see, you may pay 8,000 today and then 8,000 next year, 8,000. It may go up, but it can go down too. I just want to make sure you understand that. In the 1970s, in the mid 1970s, you remember Jimmy Peanut Carter? The interest rate was 18%. And then the land prices crash. That can happen too. But generally it does. But you got to know. This is the day. Can this 10,000, just like the 2,000, can go to $20,000 per acre for 10, 15, 20 years from now? You see, Warren Buffett again said, the future is never clear. తెలుగులో ఏమంటామంటే భవిష్యత్తు ఎప్పుడు స్పష్టంగా ఉంది. That's a reasonable statement. And then once in a great while, I was debating whether I should even mention this to you. But this happens. But once in a great while, you can win the lottery, in this farmland. How many of you won the lottery? That's what I thought. None of you, right? You see, మన తెలుగులో ఏమంటామంటే కలిసి వచ్చేవాడికి నడిచి వచ్చేవాడు. How many of you had a kid walk as soon as he was born? That's what I thought. None of you. But this can happen. What can happen? A 10-bag. You know what a 10-bagger is? Some of you do, some of you don't, perhaps. There was a guy, he was a fund manager, he ran billions of dollars, very successful guy named Peter Lynch. And then he come up with this term called a 10-bagger. What's a 10-bagger? That means you bought the stock for $100 and then it went to $1,000. That's a 10-bagger. Once in a while you can get that, but I don't want you to count on that. Okay, here is this. Talking about 10-bagger. I was working with Notre Dame University farms. They had about 1,200, 1,500 acres of land. I was advising them a long time ago. But the Catholic brothers that ran the farm, they all either died off, retired, and that farm was sold. And this one guy started what they call Stirrups Partners. He's a Notre Dame graduate. He bought the land. He was buying a lot of land. He runs a hedge fund. He lives in Boston. I wish some of our Telugu people did that. It started 15 years ago. It may not be too late yet, but that's what the challenge I'm going to give you going from here. See, he paid a lot of money for the land. And then he gets 350 or 400 acres of cash crop, just like we do. But you got to show your partners, the people that are with your hedge fund, you got to show at least 10% every year. You know, I mean, I was wondering what's this guy going to do next. Yeah, this guy's goose is cook. He can't do that. I was driving by the other day. I'll be booger. He converted about 200 acres into a solar farm. He's right sitting by South Bend, Indiana. You know what they pay you? They pay you to set up the solar panels, $1,000 per acre per year for 40 years. That's a 10 bagger, okay? That's a 10 bagger. So about the 10 bagger, one thing I want to tell before I leave here, never happens to you. Don't ever count on it. And take my word for this. That's something, it happens to the other guy, not you, okay? Not me. So just want you to know. Why are the farmland prices? I'm going to ask myself some of the questions, but I thought you may have going to ask. Why are the farmland prices so high? You see, with the commodity prices so high, the farmers are flush with cash and they're buying their neighbors out. It used to be they didn't have that much money. You and I have a chance to go and bid and get some land. And then another reason. This is called 1031 exchange buys. What do you mean by that? You see, a guy owns 200 acres of land in Yuba City, California, where the land is $50,000 per acre. He sells that, and then within a year, he got to come here and buy land. So he pays, he can afford to pay, and with the 500 acres, he buys 2,500 or 3,000. And those guys are fearless because they have cash. That's what they call 1031 exchange buy. For your information, most of the land is exchanged in auctions anymore. And there will be people, you know, my wife knows all of this. She went to auction with Notaki Mondrag, and she kept bidding up to 7,500, and she finally gave up. But anyway, the bankers are right there. The MetLife guy, they're just moving around like sharks there. They won't give you money. Of course, you got to prove that you're worthy of getting the money. So MetLife, Rebo, Agri-Finance, some of these banks, you know, they may want you to put down 40% down payment, 50% down payment, or whatever that their requirement is anymore. It's a bit higher. And then the rest of it, they will write you a loan right there if you go to the auction, okay? These bankers, I tell you, yeah, I love them. But we always kid them and joke with them. You see, this farmer, he sat down with his banker. He told him that I have lost $100,000 on my corn crop this past year, but it could be worse. Banker asked him, what could be worse than losing $100,000? The farmer said, I've lost $200,000 on my hogs. Hogs means pigs. You know, I mean, he's a pig farmer. Yeah, but it could be worse. Well, the banker asked him, what could be worse than that? He said, well, I have lost $100,000 on my beef cattle, but it could be worse. Well, the banker is getting excited now. He said, what could be worse than losing $100,000? Well, the farmer said, it could be my money. Okay? For those of you that didn't understand the joke there, the farming community joke, he was losing the money he borrowed from the bank. Okay? So there we are. Yes? You should prove you're so wealthy that you never have to borrow money before you can borrow money. That's the principle there, okay? But my wife knows how to deal with it. Once in a while, you run into this. The term they use is called land contract. I've done one farm this way. What's a land contract? You don't go to the banker. I don't have the money, and then if they check me out, I don't have enough credit worth. I got the credit worthiness, but I don't have enough net worth to be able to borrow $1 million. So there will be an old lady out there. She's planning to retire. And if she sold the land, get all the $1 million at one time, the government takes part of it away. So what she says is, hey, you pay me 3.5%, 3% interest, and then you pay me so much money per year. And then she will figure out she's going to live 15 years. So she will say so much per year for 15 years. The contract is between her, the old lady, and you. Okay? That's what they call land contract. I've done one like that, but it's almost impossible to do one of these anymore. Opportunities still exist. Okay? Let me tell you what I meant by it. Amazon was $5 stock at one time when Bezos, in those days we called him Bozos. He was selling user books and nobody wanted any part of it. Well, after splits, re-splits, incarnations, and the stock right now is $3,280 the last I checked. Okay? So we didn't buy it at $5. So man, I ain't buying him anymore. Oh, yeah. But this is the thing. Now, what they're saying is the analysts, this sucker is going to go to $4,200. Okay? So some people are coming in and buying Amazon. I've seen it just in the last 2 days. They bought up some Amazon stock. It isn't $5, it's 3,000, but it's still opportunity there. You know, it's just like Warren Buffett. You know, when the Occidental Petroleum went down to $10, he didn't buy, and now recently sunk in $6 billion when the Occidental Petroleum is $56 to $58. I don't know. He sees the opportunity there. Okay, nothing is missed. There's still opportunity exists. Some advice before we move off here. This is, I'm quoting Oracle of Omaha with Warren Buffett. Don't invest in something you don't understand. Risk comes from not knowing what you're doing. Well, he says that, but this is the problem. You know, with this, that there is a lot of truth in this. I don't know what Occidental Petroleum is. I don't know what the insurance company he bought for $12 billion a couple of weeks ago. I have no idea. See, I bought Warren Buffett. I bought his Berkshire Hathaway. I don't know what he does. I bought him. You see, that's the deal. I don't have to know, but I know the man. That's the reason why you need someone that you can trust to buy the land. Because when I first came to this country, some of my buddies, they thought they found a big investment tool. They saw it in the paper that for $1,000 they can buy land in Florida. You know, they went to check it. And, there were alligators moving in there. And somebody stole them some swamp. Okay, you need someone that you can trust to buy the land. You need to know. Do your buffer. This is one more of my things that is forever. Don't go into land business if you are going to sell out right away. When you really lose in this business of land is when you are forced to sell out at a loss because you could make the payments or some other personal issues, then you're forced to sell at the market price. You know, I ain't going to, yeah. You see, it's land, dude, no day trade. Okay? It's It's a long-term investment. You got to know that. And also, we're not asking you to put all the money. You know, they tell you to put 70% in the stock and 30% in the fixed. The fixed money doesn't make that much money in the bonds. So that's the money you put in gold and land. Okay. So as romantic as it sounds, doing the farming on your own is tough to do unless it's low acreage organic vegetable farming. And this is very important. I have underlined, find a good farmer and cash rent it out. It's very safe, very, very safe. And long as you pay attention to the good farmer. There can be some deadbeats there. You got to know that's the reason why you need to know someone that you can trust that arranges all these things. Okay? If you set it up right, a lot of people, a lot of questions will come in. Oh my goodness. You know, if somebody come and occupy just like in Hyderabad, you know, Garibe Hatao, you know, that kind of stuff, you know, I mean, like the government came and then, you know, that kind, it's not there. That's not the way it's done. If you set it up right, there is no risk. You need all these things. That's what my wife does. She knows her way. She did all the title insurance, the deeds, the soil types, the USDA certified yields, the corn base, whatever that you need to know. Yeah, if you set it up right, no risk whatsoever. In the old days, a lot of people were afraid of land. You know, when I keep pounding on you that it is forever, not necessarily. You know, if it's 10,000 up, mostly I'm saying is you don't want to sell at a loss. But if the land is 9,000, 10,000, you paid 1,500 or 2,000. If you want to take profit, go ahead, do it. And then if you can put the money some other place, that's good. Okay, liquidity is not an issue. A lot of people think, well, if you put the money in the land, good land, I'm talking about, you know, I mean, you can't sell. No, but you know, you won't sell, nobody buy. Oh no, sir. Liquidity is not an issue. You tell them that you're selling this afternoon. Tomorrow morning, there will be a farmer and he's in manure spreader, all cash, knocking on your door. Okay? In 2 weeks, everything will be done. No issue whatsoever with liquidity. One of the things you got to understand is that tillable acres are what you buy. Like in this picture, 210 acres total, but the crop is only 30 acres. There is a price for it. You got to be careful. You don't want to buy junk land. And then this is the kind you want, 160 acres, mostly tillable. Whether you do it or you don't do it, these are the kind. But then this is called, I don't like non-contiguous field. You see how it's, you know, there's creek running, there is a piece here, a piece there, a piece other place, you know, it's all, that's called non-contiguous field. Whereas contiguous is one field after the other, just lays nice. That's the kind of stuff you're looking. And then you got to worry about the source of irrigation. Some parts of the country is running out of water. You know, like Kansas, parts of Texas, you know, they are what they call a Ogallala formation. They're running out of water. There is no water. But if you're in southern Michigan, northern Indiana, that some of the lakes, they're running underground. You'll never run out of water. Okay? Bhumi Bangar. You know, just like I'm saying, you got to put everything in here, but you can put 70% in your stocks. And then the rest of the money, instead of putting in bonds, you can bring it here and you put it in the land. You'll never lose. Okay? Every time my wife and I sold land, we lost out. Okay? So, and then let me say something to you. We're not the kind that go out on a limb. You know, when as a kid, I went on a limb, fell down. I have some broken ribs to show you. We don't do that. So this is what it boils down to. In the final analysis, if I can find irrigated land for around 10,000 acres for the kind of the soil that I showed you, not for sand, I'll be a buy. I'll buy and do a Warren Buffett. Our favorite holding period is forever. That's what he said. You know, I'm not going to sell, I'm going to buy and then stay there. Okay, forget that you even bought that land till 5 years, 10 years from now, somebody walks you into the, you know, on the road and says, hey, I saw your farm. That forget, you know, buy the land and do a Warren Buffett. That's what I'm talking. This is what intrigues me. We are big in IT and in Silicon Valley. Telugu people. We're big in hotels and motel businesses. We're big in restaurant businesses. And we're big in several venture capital. How come some young Telugu guy didn't start some kind of a farmland hedge fund and have us all buy it? Someone to own farmland on their own, the sake of owning, and others want an opportunity to invest. That's the challenge I give out today to our people. You know, if you want to, you can go and check Sarah's partners. That's what that guy is doing. He's buying land. You know, he's a Notre Dame University graduate. Just throwing I'm not sure why our people did not get into the land. Our Sardarjis got into the land, but they came in the early 1900s. Yuba City, California, they owned the place. They owned a lot of land in they bought the land for $100 an acre in those days, and it's worth $50,000 now. So, sir, I appreciate the opportunity. I hope you could hear me okay. And I'm going to say something very personal now, in closing. Don't forget the have-nots we left behind. You see on the top, it says, all that's not given is lost. This is in the village of Chiluru where we built the hospital free, you know, last 20 years, 300 to 400, almost 400,000 patient visits, thousands of free cataract surgeries. My family knows a lot of American people, and some of them, they want to share their plate with my people back home. And that's what we have done. You know, like that Kaufman Eye Clinic, that's where we do all the free cataract surgeries. All the equipment is there, we do it free. You see, all that's not given is lost. This Chiluvuru, Yarlagadda Krishna Prasad gari puttini, Mahaniyulu, Bandla Hanumaya gari mettini. And then this is the Rama temple, Janaya Jupati. Now, Varya Volga gari Purvikulu, Rama temple teacher. It's in bad shape. You know, when you go in there for worship, sometimes some of the stuff is coming down from the roof. It was unsafe. She took it on herself to rebuild this Rama temple brick by brick by brick. The laksha. But idi Telugu vari avadu. Okaina Hema Hemi antaru nenu had Edla Hema Prasad vari diet. ఆయన తెలుగు వారి మంచితనం, ఆయన తెలుగు వారి గొప్పతనం, ఆయన తెలుగు వారి వైభవం, ఆయన తెలుగు వారి అవసరం. చాలా మంది తెలుగు వారు ఎన్నో డబ్బులు ఇచ్చి ఇది ఈ టెంపుల్ బిల్డ్ చేయగలరు. అందువల్ల ఆ పైన ఏముందని రాసామంటే విరాళం ఇవ్వనిదంతా వృధా 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 వృధా. All that's not given is lost. మీకేమైనా క్వశ్చన్లు ఉండి మీరేమైనా కరస్పాండెన్స్ అది చేయాలనుకుంటే kotajanaya@yahoo.com, and then he got his phone number there. Please write that down. Kotajanaya. Or if you want to talk to one of us, my wife is the best. That's why I'm putting her information. Olga Yarlagadda, Yarlagadda@gmail.com. It's easy to remember. 617-435-2310. Thank you, and God bless. Hello.
Subbarao garu, thank you very much. Raja garu, do you want to take over?
Yeah, sure, Andy.
To address the chat questions, Andy.
Yeah. Okay, some people ask the question about what is the cash rent. I think the cash rent is the lease when you give the land for lease. I think whatever the amount you get. ఇండియాలో మనం ఏమంటామంటే మనం పొలం కౌలుకి ఇస్తే కౌలుకి ఇచ్చినప్పుడు వాళ్ళు కౌలుదారు మనకి ఎంత ఇస్తాడు. So that's the cash rent. Am I right, Yarlagadda garu?
Yes. The question, repeat the question. Some people want to know what cash rent is, and he answered it right.
Okay. And the next one is
Kaulu kitchen.
Yeah, మనం కౌలుకి ఇస్తే వాళ్ళు మనకి జస్ట్ లైక్ మనం ఇఫ్ యూ హ్యావ్ అపార్ట్మెంట్ ఉన్నప్పుడు మనం ఇల్లు ఉన్నప్పుడు దాని రెంట్కి ఇస్తే మనకి దానికి లీజ్ రెంట్ పే చేస్తారు కదా. దట్స్ వాట్ మనం ల్యాండ్ ని రెంట్కి ఇచ్చినప్పుడు వాళ్ళు పండించుకొని మనకి ఇచ్చే క్యాష్, అది క్యాష్ రెంట్ అన్నమాట.
Profit or loss, they take it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And the next question we have is wondering if Subbarao garu has any comment on owning land indirectly through some website they are putting www.accreditor.com.
Yes.
LLC structure. It seems to have 10% total return based on their track record so far.
Yes. You know, I will tell you what my personal, if I do not know who they are, if you don't know them, I wouldn't put any money with them. Okay. Even if when I'm buying stock, I'd rather buy something I know like Walmart, or Microsoft or something that I know.
Yeah.
Don't put money just because somebody advertised. We don't know who they are, what they are. And then if you want me to check further into them, you can contact me and we'll look into it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's very good. Thank you.
Yeah, I can give you my opinion. They have a lot of overhead costs and that kind of stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, the next question we have is buying land in Mexico or southern states better than northern states due to longer duration of warmer weather in
So-
a year?
Yeah, that was a good question. The question was asked in the South, is it better to buy in the South or the North? Well, I'll make two distinctions here. Within the United States, North and the South. South has, we can grow two crops in a year, a lot of times, okay? And then in the North, you may be able to grow only one crop, like soybeans, one crop. But there are other issues, even though that's an advantage in the South, you have some other issues. It's too hot, and then you get all these, you get hit with, too much rain, I'm calling it a cyclone, but yeah, there are other issues. But I will not advise personally to anybody that I know, that anybody that I respect, to buy land in other countries other than United States here. Not in Mexico, not in any other place. If you're buying 1 acre, just for speculation, it's okay. But farmland, there are a lot of issues there. Don't go there. Yes.
Okay.
Did that make sense?
Yeah, that's right. And we don't know those countries, like what are their rules and regulations, how the local government and the central government work there. We have to learn those things first before we invest anything there.
That's right. That's correct. That is very difficult.
Yeah. And the next question we have is, what is your advice regarding rising risks with climate change and unpredictable rain and weather patterns?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I appreciate, the question was asked, what's this climate change is going to do? That's the reason why I'm afraid of buying some high-priced land in places like California for farm. You got to put $40,000 an acre, and then they're running out of water. Every time they have a drought, they cut the amount of water that goes to the farmers because their job is to keep the Los Angeles and San Francisco water, So that's going to, that's a consideration. But in the Midwest, in general, you are very safe because of the plenty of the groundwater that you have. And then in Iowa and Illinois, actually the ground is so good, you don't even need to irrigate, whatever that affects it, yes. But right now, I don't see a big problem. Once in a while, you see issues, too much rain, too little rain, and that kind of stuff. And that's going to be the way in the future also. Right now, what I know, how the crops are growing, and everything else, I will not be hesitant to buy land because of the coming climate change. What I acknowledge climate change, okay?
Okay. And some people are asking about the presentation as well as the recording. Yes, this session is already going live streaming on TANA YouTube channel. If you go to TANA YouTube channel, you can see this recording as well as the live streaming there, and it will be there forever. You can watch whenever you want and wherever you want. And the next question is, Subbarao, is in $10,000 an acre a high price when everything is overvalued?
The $10,000 is high, kind of high, but it still is workable. That's the way it is because they're making a lot of money and then they're able to buy land at that high price. $10,000 is high, but it's still acceptable. The only thing is I can't even buy land right now for $10,000. Yeah.
Okay. And the next question we have is, which states would you prefer to buy farmland today? All
I can only tell about myself and ourselves. We feel comfortable to buy land where we are because we know the territory, we know the geography, we know the area, we know the farmers, and then we know what the value is, we know what the water status is, we know everything. We feel comfortable, but we don't want to go too far out of the way. But this I'll tell you, if for some reason you have a deal come up in some other state other than where we are at in the northern part of Indiana, southern Michigan, or northern Ohio, or central Indiana, we feel comfortable with. If you have land someplace in Florida, someplace in Texas, someplace in Carolina, or some other place, Arkansas, you got our address, you got our email. Now, please at least talk to us. I will give you our opinion of things. And if you're so serious to buy it and you're determined to buy it, I can make a personal trip there and assess the situation. Okay? And my wife and I can go and assess the land, the value, whether it's worth or not, and that kind of stuff. So it has to be taken, farm by farm, situation by situation, deal by deal. Okay, there are other states. There's a lot of beautiful farmland. Iowa, Illinois, in fact, it's better than in Michigan and Indiana. So you need to know what you are getting into. I'm going back to that. Okay, we are willing to help you. Yeah. If you ever come across land, you want our opinion, we're there for you.
Okay, thank you. And the next question is, there is a bubble in stocks, real estate, and commodities.
Yes.
So is agriculture land not in a cycle at higher end?
Yeah. Yeah, there is a bubble. I think that they're saying in the housing market it's going to bust up and all that kind of. If you buy land at $10,000 per acre, at $9,000 or $8,000 per acre, it's good land that's just like I was saying, follow all the rules. I don't see it busting up. I don't foresee it's going to go down. Okay? Agriculture right now is prosperous. And then you'll have 3 or 4 years that are not as good as the other. But in general, I see a very good future for agriculture for the very reasons that I have laid out. There are so many mouths to feed and not much land. That's the overwhelming thing in the future, especially the younger guys, that I want them to know land is rock solid investment if you buy it right, if you set it right, if you know what you're doing. Okay.
Okay.
And is not going to bubble up like housing. Did I answer the question right?
Yeah, that's right. We got it, Subbarao.
Yeah.
And the next question is, what is the recommended website to find farming lands?
There are a lot of them. I look at them and I don't know whether to trust them or not. That's the problem. I see, right now they say, well, agriculture is prime, they're making a lot of money, the land is valuable, you're going to make so much money. Again, whether you go through your website, whether there are a lot of them, I can't name your names right now. Whatever you do, you know what you're doing, know what you're getting. Please, yeah. A lot of people got burned if they didn't know what they're doing, what they're buying. That you got to go take a look at. You got to go walk the land. You got to go feel the land. You got to go see what the area is, what the farmers are, what kind of marketing there is. There are a lot of things to this farming. You just don't go into a website and buy land without experience. I hate to discourage people, but I'm proud that I do. Okay. Yes. You can get very easy.
Yeah, and the next question is how to know the soil types in different parts of the country. Is there any website, and
Yeah.
what soil types are good for farming?
Yes. Most of those are available through USDA, what the soil type maps, and then what they call S-Turbo maps. You can get the soil types. We got to have the right software. Like my company had the software. I can get all that you have to do is go to a local county agent. They have a web, they'll have a place where you can get at your county seat. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Person was asked about the soil types. You need to know what the soil type is. So that's a beautiful question. Yeah, it's available. It's public knowledge. It's website on the USDA. You got to know how to get there, but it's available. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. And the next question is how to find a good attorney to review farming land contract.
Okay, that's a good question. Yeah, when we set up ourselves, we didn't think of anything. We need to probably revamp how we're set up. We need an attorney. Any of the, rural attorneys, not one location, not one person, in a county seat, wherever you are, where your land is in the county seat, there are several attorneys, okay? No matter where you are in the country. And then you got to look, and then you got to go to that website and see who does or who is in the farm. That's the person that you want to put. That's the best way to answer the question. Because go to the county, you can see who is the person that's doing the agriculture advice. Yeah. And then the bank, okay. The bank manager or the bank, because they gave you the money, yeah, they got interest in you. That those guys will provide you the list of the best people, best attorneys that you can find. The bank, the loan, if you took the loan. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
And the next question is what crop is the farmer doing so they are paying $400 as lease money per year? Soya farming is paying only $130 to $140 in most states.
Yeah. Okay. It depends on where you are at. That's the reason why our price of the land in our part of the country is kind of high. In some parts of the country, they're dry land, they don't grow that many crops. But in my part of the country, because of the irrigation, we can raise many crops. Well, of course, the corn and the soybeans, and we can raise potatoes, we can raise tomatoes, we can raise green beans, we can raise hybrid seed corn. They make a lot more money by raising hybrid seed corn. Two of the companies, DuPont and Monsanto, has the biggest hybrid seed production facilities right there in our part of the country. Okay, so we're talking about variety of crops. In fact, there are people that are raising in my part of the country watermelons. So that's the reason why the cash rent is a bit high. Okay. And then irrigated will get you more cash rent than the dry land. That means non-irrigated. Okay. We call it in India rain fed. Okay. You need rains. You don't have water. You don't have a pivot that costs a lot more money. That's the reason why they pay more. Yes.
Yeah. The next thing is somebody Srinath Royalagaru, and he said to take Yarlagadda Garu challenge. Yes, we Telugu people are buying lands. Myself, I closed 4,000 acres in last 2 years in Denver, Colorado. That's what Srinath Royalagaru is saying. Congratulations and thank you, Srinath Garu, for sharing your information.
That's very beautiful. Yes. Yeah. I'm sure that's great. That's what I want our people do. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then maybe we can share the information, share the experiences.
Yeah, Srinath Garu, I just unmuted you if you want to say a few words.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Andy. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, thank you very much. Very good session. Really, really very informative. Yes, people are doing that, and we are thinking of that, like land value. Manamandaru రైతు బిడ్డలము. So definitely we know the value of the land. So we started అండి. చాలా మంది చాలా ఇంట్రెస్ట్ చూపిస్తున్నారు. They have like very good proposition actually. So 30% down payment, 70% of loans. And I also found a very good loan banker. They're like a cooperative banks. They even do like 1% dividend every year on the loans, which is like really good. Like, the interest rate is like under 5, and with the net interest rate with that dividend is like
Yeah. You got.
Go ahead, and sorry, you are on mute, Sri.
yeah, now I'm unmute, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's good, Andy. It's going good, and it's looking really good.
That's great. I'm so glad that you came. We're
Yeah,
we're
right.
grateful for you, sir. Yes.
Yeah. The acre value we paid on average is anywhere between from 2,700 per acre to 22,000 per acre, which is like next to a neighborhood, like highly developed area.
Yes. Yeah. That's what we're talking about. The thing. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Srinath Garu. We'll move on to the next question.
Yes.
Are there situations like they were unable to pay cash rent due to crop loss? How to deal with such situations?
Yeah. I cannot say there weren't. The question was asked, what happens if the farmer doesn't pay the cash rent? Or he can't pay the cash rent? The reason why we do the cash rent is that he got to pay. He's obligated by contract. He got to pay whether he makes any money or not. That's where we come in. You need, like I'm getting $400 or $325 or $300 cash rent. There will be a guy, the farmer, he comes there and he says, "Oh yeah, I'll up that by $100. I'll pay you $500." But he can be a deadbeat. That's what I call it. A deadbeat means a guy with one step on the banana peel and another step in the grave. He's ready to go but bankrupt. Okay, that we call them the farming terminology is deadbeats. Okay, so you have to be very careful. Yes, that's the reason why you need to select the right farmer, and that's the reason why I've underlined that thing. It never happened to us because we're very careful. Even if you are in a new area, you should be able to find out about who is reputable. There are some sites. Yes. Okay. So if you go without knowing and then give it to anybody you want to, or give it to somebody that pays you the highest rent, well, you remember the guy that James Whitmore said that the return of my money is more important than return on my money. You got to get you got to have a good farmer, and that's the very reason why I underline. Yeah, it can happen if you didn't know what you're doing. Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Is it possible to get this call recording? Yes, this call is available. Whatever this video session is available live on TANA YouTube channel, and the YouTube link also will be shared as part of TANA newsletter. Please watch out that one. The people who are on the H1B can own farmland.
Yes. They're
They
on,
are on H1B visa, but in your presentation, Subbarao garu, you mentioned
yeah.
who are the citizens and green card holders can
Yeah,
own the land. But
yeah, but there are a lot of foreign people. There are restrictions. There are 6 states. Okay, Iowa is one of them, and there are 3, 4, or 5 other states that they have a lot of restrictions for the people other than those 2 categories. Okay, and I'm not sure that the taxes and that kind of stuff, but that they can buy land. Yeah. You know, I mean, like I was saying, Saudi Arabia wants some land. They raise alfalfa in the southwest US. Yes.
okay, the next question is the cash rent only paid during the growing season or all year? The cash rent, what we discussed.
Okay. It depends on the arrangement that we make. That's one way that you can avoid deadbeats or losing the cash rent. Is you can write the contract that you pay the cash rent. The farmer pays the cash rent before he plants the crop. Okay? That way you got your money. If he didn't get your money, he ain't gonna farm your land. Okay? So it can be written that way. But in our case, sometimes we take it half of it in the front, other half after the crop is in.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the next question is, do you buy existing farmland or undeveloped land for farming? How do we ensure it's desirable?
Undeveloped land, I prefer, you know, I'm not going to make any books here. I prefer developed land. Okay. Undeveloped land means what they're saying is probably there are some woods means of forest trees and that kind of stuff. You're going to knock them off and then bring them into production. That causes a lot of problems in the local community. They don't like people coming and then you know, telling trees off, you see. So you are better off sticking with the farmland that's tillable. Okay, you know, I'm not sure what's tillable and all that. You know, I mean, we got to know all those things. There is a price for everything, please. If I did not make myself clear, there is a price for everything. You know, you can grow 6, 7, or 8 crops, and the farmer makes $1,000 of income, and he pays you $300 or $400 cash. But if it's rain fed, you're growing wheat, and it grows only 30 bushel per acre of wheat, you are not going to make any money, and he will pay you $100. It's all relative, but you stick with the developed farmland, and that's what I'll look. Okay, it's just so involved, and there are some places where people buy some forest land in Georgia for tax purposes, for all the things. You know, they put it in conservation and they get a lot of tax breaks. That's something people got to look into. The people that are making a lot of money, if they need tax shelters, that's all they're.
Okay. And the next question is, which places in USA are considered good farmlands?
Oh, okay. That's a very good question. The question was, I'm repeating the question so everybody can hear. Which states are the good farmland? Good farmland is in almost all the states. You know, it depends on what you're going to do. You know, if you want fruit crops, vegetable crops, you got to go to California. And then, you know, can you imagine there are some fruit crops in Michigan and also in New York? Or you got to go to Florida, of course, if you want to grow oranges and that kind of stuff. But in general, the best farmland is in what they call the Corn Belt. The Corn Belt is in the Midwestern states. Okay, upper Midwestern, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin. Those are the ones that have. But every state, I know, each state has some great farmland. You know, it's not like the whole state is not good. You know, Pennsylvania has great farmland. Can you believe New York has some great farmland? You know.
Yeah, and you see the next question is they're asking about, is it buying land in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut is an option?
Oh, it will be very difficult. If you are in New York, most of the farming land is in the western New York area, okay? Yeah, not in the east. Go into the Connecticut and all those places. There is not that much farming. There is a little bit of farming. You know, even there is some farmland right in the Manhattan Island where they grow a lot of crops there in the muck area there. So it's possible. Yeah, I've traveled in New York. There's a lot of farmland in New York. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the next question is, can I buy undeveloped land and turn into a farmland?
Undeveloped land. I'm not sure what the definition of that.
What they're saying, asking is like if they buy the undeveloped land, like which is not in farming now, nobody is doing farming in that land, but they want to buy and they want to develop that one as a farmland.
Yeah.
Is it true?
It's undeveloped means, are there trees in there? That's why they're not farming. Are there rocks in there? That's why they're not farming. What's the reason now they're not farming? It's a nice flat level ground. They either should be farming or they're not farming because it's too dry and there is no rain. See, that's why it's very difficult to what's undeveloped. It's not like building sites, home sites.
Yeah, it's clear that what you mean is, Subbarao, like you have to make sure how much it will cost to convert that one into the farmland, right? That's the initial expense you have to do it. And also, like, how is it going to fertile? Like, is it fertile land or not? So these are the things you have to consider before you buy any undeveloped land.
Yeah, it's there you go. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. And the next question is, how do we estimate income per acre, expenses versus profit?
Okay. That's if you are in the cash rent business, that means he's going to pay you so much. Then you don't have to worry about the expenses. At one time we were doing that, you know. You don't have to worry about the income and the expenses, okay? The cash rent, he just pays you. It doesn't make any difference. Whatever he makes, he makes. Whatever he loses, the farmer, he loses. And that's what it is. But anymore, you know, each crop is different. Each area is different. Each field is different. Now, I know what they call budgeting, you know. And then there are what they call fixed costs, which is the land cost, the land rent, the interest, the machinery and all that kind of stuff. And the farmer is farming it. And then what they call variable cost, which is fertilizer, chemicals, herbicides, all the insecticides.
Subbarao, can you please put the mic close to your...
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
We're good?
Yeah.
Yeah. What we're saying is there are some fixed costs, variable costs, and these costs depend on the crop that if it's soybeans, it will be different. It may be included, if you add up the fixed depreciation on the machinery, land cost, and all those things, it can add up to $550 per acre. That's for the farm, you see. And then he may be able to get an income of $750 on the soybeans. If it's corn, it may cost him as much as $750 per acre. And then his income may be, right now, the price of the commodities is so high, they're making as much as $1,100 per acre. So it depends on the crop. And then if you have some fruit crops, they may cost as much as $10,000. So it's on the crop, it's on the area, and it depends. But unless you go big in farming, like you want to own 3,000 or 4,000, do your own farmland, we're doing cash. We don't go into that. But that's what the expenses, what it exactly costs the farmer is. For corn, it costs $750, and then he makes $1,100 probably, $1,000. And then for soybeans, it costs you $560 per acre, including all the expenses, the fixed, and then he makes out $750. So it depends on the crop. Some crops cost a lot more. Tobacco is different, watermelon is different, pistachios are different, oranges are different. So yes, did that help?
Yeah. And the next question is, it's a great information about the U.S. agricultural land farming. Thank you. What is your thoughts on indoor/vertical farming?
Yeah. I have some friends that do that and make money at it. He grows tomatoes in the greenhouse, and then he takes them to the Chicago market. He got some connections with Myers and the kind of people, and he makes money at it. That's a possibility. But I tell you, it's intensive, and then it takes a lot of work. The friend that I have is he got a lot of kids. He puts them to work. You see, so it can be done. It's done. It can be profitable. It's a very viable thing without the land. You can do it, but you got to have. At one time, my wife was doing that. She had a big greenhouse. She was making flower beds and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, that can be done.
Mm-hmm. Okay, how much per acre is the best buy, and how long it take to get my investment?
Okay, what does it cost for the best land? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, and we have covered a bunch of that, but right now it depends on where you're at. If you're in California, the land can be worth $40,000, $50,000 because you can grow a lot of other crops like pistachios with high value, cash crops like oranges and that kind of stuff. And my experience, like Yarlagadda was telling that he got a different experience. It's closer to the town, it will cost you more. Otherwise, it's $2,000, probably it's dry land. Okay, but my experience is in the Midwest mostly. I know the rest of the area, but here is, like I said, if it's irrigated, even if it's not irrigated, it's good land in Iowa, Illinois. It runs between $8,000 to $13,000, $14,000 land. How long does it take you? It's a long time. In our case, it didn't take too long to make our money. That's why I told you, Bhavishyatu Spashtanga Unnadu, and it may take 15 years before you will be able to, just slowly paying, and you own the land one day, and then when you retire, you get the income of that land. Okay. So it's a, yeah.
The next question we have is, do you think vertical farming will take over the traditional farming?
No. I know the answer for that. Okay. It will be in addition to the traditional farming. Okay, but it won't take it. No, sir.
Okay. And the other question we have is any comments on investing in hydrophonic companies?
Yeah, that's called hydroponics. That means what they're doing is they're growing crops, they're growing tomatoes, lettuce, what have you. They're growing in water, okay, in a greenhouse most of the times. So again, you got to know who is doing it. You know, I cannot say because I don't know the company, I don't know the people, I don't know who is running it.
Yeah.
You know, that's very difficult to give advice on what if I know who it is, what they're doing, what they're growing, what it costs them, how they're marketing it, if there is money in it. There are a lot of things that go on. All the list that I gave you, those are the things you need to know before you make a judgment on whether you can buy land or you can invest in something. Case by case.
Do you mind to address a little bit of the question there?
Which?
The hydroponics and vertical farming. Can I take that question, both of those questions?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
I'll add quickly a couple of points.
Yeah, sure, Janay.
We had sessions in the past, TANA convention on both of those topics. And I just want to let you all know that we will be having a follow-up session on greenhouse and vertical farming. An expert is coming and you can ask more thorough questions. He's going to provide exactly the same way Subbarao garu presented today. What is the cost benefit and what are all the risks? And then coming to the hydroponics, we did have a session and I'm going to bring that person again. Now we are going to bring that person again as TANA. So I just want to put that out. I think watch out for some announcements in coming months.
Yeah, thank you, Janay garu. And like Janay garu said, we are doing a lot of educational webinars and we will come up with more and more sessions on each individual topic. So
it's always better if you talk to a person that's actually doing it. That's why you got to bring in those experts. I'm doing in the Midwest. I know this terrain, I know this area, I know this land, I know these costs. Yeah.
Okay. And the next question, go ahead.
Good answer.
Yeah. And the next question we have is it possible to buy small chunks of land like 5 acres and 10 acres?
Yeah, it's always possible. It depends, if you're in Florida, let's say, you can buy 5-10 acres of land someplace. Some of them are raising seed, some of them are raising vegetables, and then they market it to the local Indian grocery stores. And that's becoming very popular. Yes. Yeah, it's possible. But owning 5 acres in Midwest where you have to have, it's not that big a deal unless you think that 5 acres is going to be, some building sites or some urban sprawling is coming into that area. But yes, you can buy, yes.
And the next one is, what are your trusted sources to buy a land?
My sources, can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, what are your trusted sources to buy a land? I think where.
Oh, okay. That's a very good question. Again, my knowledge may be limited because I'm limited to, say, for example, one of the people that my wife and I go to is this auction place called Schrader Auction.
I'm sorry, what is that, Subbarao?
Schrader, SCHRADER. Schrader Auction. those are the people I go to. I went there and then I bid, and I never got the land, but I know some people there, and that's the one. Even there are a lot of hundreds of them probably there, but those are the people I deal with. Okay, and then I feel comfortable with. I cannot comment on something that I do not know. You know, if you don't know that place, I cannot say. But I know that place. Yeah, Schrader is one of the biggest.
Okay. And that's all from the chat room, but we have a couple of people who raised the hand. I will open up the, I will unmute them. Please go ahead and ask the question. And since the time is running out, like we already have, it's already like 9:15. We have to respect Yarlagadda garu time as well as others' time. If you guys have any questions, please reach out to Janaya Kota garu as our the email what we provided here. Janaya Kota garu also provided the email in the message what we distributed. Please reach out to those emails. Okay, I have 3 people raised the questions. I am going to ask only these 3 questions, not anymore.
Raja, 1 second before you add those 3 lines, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I want to appeal everybody. First of all, thank you very much for joining. But I want to appeal everybody. In addition to these educational seminars, which are really going to be useful for us, as President Garu mentioned in the beginning and Janaya Garu mentioned in the beginning, we will be doing a lot of activities to help the farmers back home, both Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, both Telugu states, during December month. So we will be reaching out to every one of you, through email or WhatsApp campaigns. So please support us, and you will hear a lot more from us. And if anybody wants to be part of this agricultural forum, because we are going to conduct the brainstorming sessions, what to present, what to do for these farmers, and what to present also, what kind of knowledge to bring. So please send an email to Janaya Kota garu. We will add you to our group, and then be part of the community. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kokatli garu. Yeah, like Kokatli garu said, we are doing a lot of activities back home as part of TANA Raitu Kosam. And if anybody wants to do anything in your village or your native place or anywhere else, please reach out to us, Janaya Kota garu or any of the TANA executive committee members, so we can do some charitable events there with the support of you guys. So I will open up the first question. First person, Nadipineni. Please unmute yourself.
Hello, sir. I have one question. Is there any way to get the approvals for the farming of like curry leaves, those kind of things, like for any Indian vegetables or fruits that we don't have an option to grow here? Is there a way to get that approvals and start growing them here? Because the amount we are paying here is like it's like enormous when compared to the price that we are paying in India for those things.
Curry leaf.
Yeah.
There are people that are growing curry leaf. There are restrictions. We have a lot of curry leaf plants in our house. We had them for a long time. And they raise curry leaf in the southern states, like in Louisiana and parts of Texas, and Florida, of course. There's some of our guys that they're raising, and some other vegetables too. There are no restrictions, but there are sometimes with some crops, they have restrictions on moving from one state to the other. But not that I know of that you have any restriction to raise any curry leaf.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Only restriction is bringing it from India.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And the next question is from Raj. Raj, please unmute yourself.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead.
I just want to know, is Long Island is a good investment in farming? New York, Long Island.
Yeah. Can you please repeat the questions?
Yeah, the question was, is the Long Island in New York
Yes.
is best place to do the farming? That's what the question is.
Yeah, Long Island is very, of all the places, you think Long Island won't have any agriculture, but they have big agriculture area. They raise a lot of crops, and what we call the muck. It's a dark, fluffy, complete organic matter soil. That's the reason why probably they're not building there. That's a good agricultural land there. But I bet you it's very high price because they raise very high value cash crops since New York is close by. You know, it may be very difficult to get into the land market in that part of the country, other than an acre here, acre there.
Yeah, thank you. And
Thank you.
before I open up Nandu Garu, and we have one general question, general question like, are there any tax benefits for loss and profits from the agricultural income?
There are no. It's just like treated as a regular income, and you get the tax rate. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You just show it as regular income. There are no benefits except if you have, some minor things. Say, for example, if you have to go check your farm, you have mileage that you can deduct and that kind of stuff. Other than that, you have to take the risk yourself to be able to claim any tax deduction. That means you are taking the loss and the profit. But here, we're just getting the money. We don't take the risk. If you are not taking the risk, you can't take the tax. Tax benefit farms, they're different. You can buy some pine farm in Georgia and then put it in a 20-year or 10-year conservation land, and then you will get a lot of tax benefits that way. But right now, for the income for the farm, in this part of the country, at least what I'm dealing with, is just a regular income and you pay taxes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
That's good. Nandu Garu, please ask your question.
Yeah, I think many of the questions are addressed, but one thing about the labor, the manpower, how to address that? Is it depends on the state or local level, local manpower, how to address that?
Okay. Of course, I hear what's the labor situation. In my case, the way in which that I have presented, in which the way that I have suggested it, is you get the cash flows, you get the money. I don't worry about the labor. I don't worry about how many people he hired and what he does, what he didn't do. Of course, I want to know because I want to make sure he's a good farmer, he's in good standing, he will be able to pay the money. But for us, we never have any reason to own or to hire any labor. Okay, unless you have 1,000 acres or 2,000 acres, and then you buy your own equipment, you started farming on your own, which can be done. The labor situation is very tight right now. For those that farm, it's very difficult to find stable, good, honest. You got to pay very good wages for them, and it has become very difficult to find good people, good working people. I know that for sure because I know some farmers struggling to get some good help. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
That
next question is Chennapati garu, Malli Chennapati, please unmute yourself. Malli Chennapati.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for taking the question. Subbarao, a quick question. When we think about tropical farming, everybody is looking at South Florida, California. Is Texas a good place for tropical farming? Because Texas, I see land prices are a bit cheaper than South Florida, California. I mean, where South Florida, California is upwards of 10,000 or 15,000 per acre. But Texas, we can get decent farmland around 7,000, 6,000, some large farms.
I think Chennapati garu, I think your voice is not clear. It's breaking up. I don't know, like Subbarao heard the question or not, but I couldn't hear.
I couldn't make it. Yes.
So, sorry. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, please try again. What I heard was is Texas is a good place to do the farming, since California prices are very high compared to Texas, and can we grow some crops there? That's what.
Let me make the question clear, a little bit clear, sir. I'm thinking of a tropical farming, and we looked at some farms in South Florida, and also people also look into California lands for tropical farms, right? But can we do the same tropical farms in Texas? That was my question.
Oh, okay. That's a good question. But Texas, we don't raise the same kind of crops that you raise in South Florida. There are no food crops, not much goes on with orange trees and that kind of stuff. They generally grow cotton.
Right.
There is a little bit of rice, and then they grow corn mainly, and that will be it. There are very few peanuts. Most of the peanuts are grown in South Carolina, and Georgia, of course, but they have a different cropping system. And the land in Florida land in Texas is a lot cheaper. Yeah, a lot cheaper. Everything has a price. Okay, you got to know what kind of crop, what kind of mixing. If you are able to raise oranges, pistachios, and that kind of stuff, you'll pay more. Like in Southern California, they can only raise alfalfa if they have water. They can't raise that many, fruit crops because of the climate, weather, and that kind of stuff. So it's not very high price land. You can buy land for probably $15,000 in the southern tip of California, near Raleigh and those places. We looked at some land there. South Florida, of course, you can raise some fruit crops and all that kind of stuff. And some of them are actually, they even raise flowers. That would be a lot higher price. Okay, a lot higher price. The only thing you got worry in Florida and those places is if you're closer to the coast, the salt water can be seeping in underneath from the ocean. So you got to pay attention to that.
Correct.
Yeah. Then మన దగ్గర ఉప్పు నీళ్ళు అంటారు.
Yeah. I looked into those, and close to the coast is definitely not a very good place. Oranges do grow even close to the coast, but not the other like coconut, or if we want to do sitafal, those kind of things, you need to be away from coast. We recently acquired 40 acres in Florida, Gulf Springs area. I'm just thinking, why not we do the same things in Texas? That was mostly my question.
Yeah. For some reason, in Texas, I have a lot of friends there that farm, America, but you cannot raise, of course, Florida will be south of Texas. You cannot raise the same fruit crops and that kind of crops that you grow in Florida in Texas. You can't. they can't rate.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Chanipati garu, if you have more questions, maybe you can reach out to Jane Kota garu or Yarlagadda garu, so they can answer like through email or phone. Please reach out to them. This is that's all the questions what we have. Yarlagadda garu, Subbarao garu. So thank you very much. This is a great session. Lot of great information for the who are the agriculture entrepreneurs here, like who wanted to do the agriculture and who wanted to learn and start their agricultural experience here. So Janegar, please take it to you, and then we can close the session.
Thank you very much, Raja Garu, and the entire TANA leadership for providing an opportunity to Agriculture Forum. And I also wanted to thank all the participants again. It's almost a 3-hour session. And particularly, I would like to express our sincerest thanks to Subbarao Garu for taking 3 hours and then addressing all our audience's questions. Subbarao Garu, thank you again. Once again, I cannot express our thanks anymore, like TANA and the entire team. Thank you for taking time and addressing this very well-received topic.
Okay. Once again, thank you all, and I'm going to close the session.